help us have the country that we have today. And I wanted to invite them, either one of them, if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, tell us a little bit about your service, you know, what outfit you were with and when you served.
Yeah. Well, I graduated in 1948. I was supposed to graduate in 1947, but I fooled around too much. And my English teacher plunked me in. Well, she should have. And Elton Miller was a friend of mine, a fellow classmate, and he'd gone up to Rumford to enlist in the Army. And he'd forgotten his birth certificate. So he came back to Wilton and he said, the recruiting sergeant told me if I brought somebody with me, we'd be together and we'd all join the Army. So I had previously thought I'd be in the Air Force, but my brother was in the Air Force. But being a young fella, anything that's different from what you've been doing sounds good. So off we went. And eventually I wound up down to Fort Dix. And about as soon as I got there, I ran into Peter Franchetti's father. And that was good. We got together. And so I had to take basic training, and they sent me to a military police outfit, the 716th Military Police Battalion. I took infantry basic, and when that was over, they needed some warm bodies to replace guys that got wiped out during World War II. So a bunch of us wound up MPs, which was about the furthest thing from my kin. And I thought when I went in the Army, I'd learn how to run bulldozers and graders and stuff, and I'd be able to have a trade when I came back. So anyway, I became an MP and went through MP basic, and there was a lot of running out through the woods with a rifle up to High Port, and all the non-commissioned officers had a pistol on the side, and they were running pretty good. Time when we got where we were supposed to be, we were pretty well wiped out. So anyway, coming from up here in Maine, every boy that I ever knew how to drive a vehicle. A lot of them knew how to drive big trucks. And so that stood me in good stead down there. I wound up eventually being a supply driver, driver of the guard, and I got out of walking a lot of guard duty that way. And after a while, in about 1949 sometime, we were supposed to go on maneuvers down in North Carolina. And I was driving, at the time I was driving a 2.5-ton truck. And I drove everything from a Jeep to a 3/4 ton to a 1.5 ton to a 2.5 ton. And a friend of mine, maybe some of you guys will remember him, Dick Jakubowski. He lived in Wilton for a while. He moved up here thinking it would be nice. And anyways, he wanted to be my assistant driver, and I said, "You don't know how to drive a truck. Well, you can teach me." So I gave him a crash course, and we headed for North Carolina. Well, he bought a harmonica, and he was trying, on the way down, he was trying to learn how to play the harmonica, Home Sweet Home. And over and over and over and over for hours. I said, "Jake, let me see that harmonica." Handed it over and I threw it out to him. And hopefully some young fellow came along and saw the harmonica. And he didn't appreciate that much. Anyway, that's the way that went. Oh, let's see. One time, I was down on the Cape. The the National Guard was on maneuvers, and so they sent my MP outfit down there to handle town patrol and so forth. And so I was doing duty on one of the gates, about 3 to 11 at night, and there was an air police on there, an AP, and because traffic was practically non-existent at that time of night, we were practicing quick draw. So we took the magazine out. With a 45, you could cock it by jacking down on it, turning it sideways, jacking down on it, and it would cock it. And so an officer came by in a car, and I went out to get his number and saluted him and waved him on, and I'm over there writing down the figures, and the air police said, "Draw!" Bang! We both put our magazines back in the 45s, and he forgot. And the shot went over my head and bored a hole up in the ceiling up there. And I thought it was hilarious. But the poor AP there, he nearly died, you know, from whatever. And we kept expecting somebody to come down from the provost marshal's office, hearing the shot, but nobody showed up, so we got out of that pretty good. And let's see, what else? Well, I went by train, troop train, eventually, across the country, and I went through a whole lot of states, but most of it, I was looking out the window, and so I didn't get to see much, you know, interesting, until we got out to the mountains. And then we were traveling along over here, and you could look back over here and see the tail end of the train coming this way. You know, it was that long and the turns were that much. And so that was interesting. I always loved trains. I've always been able to sleep after the clickety-clack, and it would put me right off to sleep. So I enjoyed the ride over. And then we got to Seattle, and we were going to go to Korea. We didn't know for sure Korea, but they said overseas, and that was the direction. So we all figured that's where we were going. And we went across on a small ship, and a lot of guys got sick, and in the ship they called the stairs ladders. And at every corner of the ladder, somebody had been throwing up there. So and they kept getting guys to clean up, and they got sick. So I wound up cleaning up, and I didn't get sick, which was kind of good because when we got ready to eat, these trays kept coming by. We got too sick to eat. So I got to eat a lot. Ice cream and stuff, you know. Yeah. Okay, we got to Tokyo, and then we went to Kobe, and from there we went into the Sea of Japan, and we got our orders that we were going to go to Korea. And so we wound there along towards evening, and they had us go down over the side of the ship on the rope ladders in the boats, and they sent us ashore. And we had rifles, and we had pistols and stuff, no ammunition. And that's kind of an unsettling feeling, you know, when you're going in enemy territory, North Korea. And we went to Hungnam, and then eventually we went further in to Hamhung. And I was there for a while, and while I was there I did some guard duty on an Army airstrip. Observation planes were taken off and landed and stuff, and like that. And so, let's see, while I was there was a small Korean girl. The Korean people liked to push the boys up front, you know, and the girls didn't get to do a heck of a lot. So there was a young girl and she was kind of clean and everything. So I used to give her some won, Korean money, this won, 1,000 won and whatever. So I'd give her 1,000 won and she'd go downtown and buy some eggs and bring them back and we'd put them in my canteen cup, boil them. We'd have hard-boiled eggs, you know. So after a while, they said we were going to evacuate, and about then, the Marines had been up in the Chosun Reservoir. You got hell beat out of them up there. But they fought their way out, along with help from the 3rd Infantry Division. And they came down through Ham Hung, where I was. So I saw all these Marines, trucks loaded with dead and shot up soldiers and so forth. And so every time I see a Marine now, I tell him, Semper Fi. You know, that's their motto, Semper Fidelis. I think a lot of Marines. After a while, we went to Busan. I was down in Busan for a while, and then we went to Daegu, which is north of there. And eventually met my wife. She was working in the PX, and I took her to a dance out of a place that we were staying at one time, and on the way out, she threw up. I should have known right there. But she turned out good. She gave me eventually 4 boys, and I've never had a problem with any of them. And I got a bunch of grandchildren, great-grandchildren.
You had no problem, Mike?
Never had trouble. Never had trouble. I had trouble with you, I think.
I say, how fortunate you are still alive.
How fortunate. I am indeed That's about all I can think of right at the moment. There were some things that happened. Town patrol there, one time I was down at town patrol, and there was an officer in the off-limits area, and he dodged around the corner, and I followed him around the corner, and he got buttonholed into a place where he couldn't get out. And I said, you know, sir, you're in an off-limits area. I am, he said. He knew very well he was, you know. And so he was going to give me a hard time, me being just a corporal and everything. Well, I said, would you like to talk to the provost marshal? Well, he decided he didn't want to talk to the provost marshal, so we got along good, and I let him go after a while. I drove. When we were down in Busan, I had a job driving an armored car. It's a 6-wheel vehicle, has a 37mm cannon and a 30 caliber machine gun mounted in the turret. And so we had this 2 supply routes, a main supply route, the red diamond and the green diamond. One went to Ulsan, one went to Samnanjin. And the one to Samnanjin went up through the mountains. And so one of the trips I had an officer in the turret, who was a colonel. And so we were following the guy that when he went around the corner, he took the supports out of a Korean house roof, and the roof came down. Yeah. So when we got back to the company, he told my commanding officer, he said, you ought to have Edwards for a driver. So then I started driving the captain around, which was a kind of a cushy job back then. Yeah, yeah. And Well, that's about it, that's enough of that.
Mr. Fletcher, do you want to say something?
Try to be careful.
Well, I went in 1942, and
How old were you?
16.
How old?
How old were you?
How old were you when you went in?
16.
Be
I
truthful.
was 16. I tried to go in, but I didn't make it in. Because they turned me away, and I was about 2 or 3 months young. I couldn't go in. So I went home, and I went back down, and I joined the Merchant Marines. And I went to Sheepshead Bay in Brooklyn, New York. Took my training, and that Christmas I watched the balls fall. And I'm going to tell you, there was an awful crowd there even then. So I imagine right now, even 20 times that many. An awful lot of people there. And on that note, I went on the SS Brazil. It was a transport ship for troops. And I went to England, and I went there and come back, and I waited about 3 or 4 weeks, and then I went down to Portland, and I got on the Liberty ship. I don't know whether any of you guys ever know what a Liberty ship is or not.
I do.
It ain't much of a ship. Be out there on a rowboat. No, really, I got on that. I went on it that night, and in the morning when I woke up, all kinds of ships were there. You know, I think they were having an invasion, because we went with that bunch, but we couldn't keep up. So we just kept falling behind more and more all the time. But I don't know where they went, but I think that's when they had the invasion there in one of the places here. And anyway, when we got over there where we was going, we went up to Bordeaux, France. Went up this river, and when we went up that river, all along the shore, there was all kinds of boats that were sunk. Oh, I don't know whether they were sunk with the Germans, or whether they sunk those ships on purpose because they didn't want them to use them. And so we went there, and one fellow got killed. He fell down one of the hatches. There was some stuff down there that wasn't tied down good, so they went down and done that. But we took over almost coal in one of our hatches, and then, but when we come home, we brought back 250 tons of cognac and champagne. But you see, things do happen once in a while. That's good. And then when I got back there, I decided I was going to go in the Army. So I joined the Army, and I was trying to think of a guy's name that went down there to Keesler Field, Mississippi. That's where I took my training. And we had, I can't, I was trying to think of him, he's from Farmington. He used to work over there at Martin Motors. Martin Motors rides over there, the Farmington.
Was it Cook?
I don't know if any of you old fellas remember Martin Motors or not. And Chevrolet.
Is it Cook?
Chevrolet garage, yeah.
He said, was it Cook?
Yes.
Buddy Cook,
Buddy Cook. Buddy Cook.
my next door neighbor for a while.
He was?
Yeah,
How did-
in Peanut Alley,
Yeah.
which is now Cameron Street, they've upgraded it.
So you see, this is gonna get certainly like him. Anyway, and then I went from Kissel Field, I went up to Geiger Field, Spokane, Washington. And I served up there for, I don't know, close to a year. But then I went down to Marshfield in Riverside, California. I see some of you starting to look. And anyway, I went down there and we were just bored, looking at these huts. They had dynamite that had melted, and they wanted us to get rid of them. So we lift the latch on one and tie a string on it, go down behind the back, and then we pull it open because the concussion can make dynamite blow. So that's what we done. That's the way we got rid of it. Now, then after that, I was there for till my time ran out. So that's the way it went with me. I should have told you. I see that fellow out there pointing his finger at me and he says, I want you. You know who it was? Uncle Sam. Yeah. But I didn't, I wasn't drafted. I enlisted. Yes, sir.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't know as if I shouldn't, right? Just the same, I thank you, fellas,
Yeah.
for a good honor here.
Well,
I really enjoyed it.
thank you.
I went to Korea on the leadership and in rough weather, the bow came out, and then the bow slapped down and the screw came out.
Yes,
Yeah,
I've heard that too.
and
I don't know if
they had a bathroom up in the bow. You couldn't use that bathroom up in the bow. You couldn't stay on the toilet.
Yeah, the difference between the Liberty ship and the Victory ship is that the Liberty ship has one screw and the other one has two screws.
Yeah.
Liberty ship and
I saw one thing on the way over, a whale way off in the distance, until I got to Japan, nearly Japan, and then the porpoises are out there riding the bow wave.
well, a lot of things happen.
Slipping.
A lot of things happen though. I had a young fellow, I think he was probably 18 or 20, because he was around my age, and he fell down the hatch and brought him up. But see, they don't hold a refrigerator on on the Liberty ship, some of them old ships, you know. And they, had put them on the plank, dumped them into sea. So you see, things sometimes wind up good, some things wind up a little bad.
Well, thank you both very
I
much.
have a book from guys that's been in, the Merchant Marines. I don't know, must be about that thick. And I'm telling you, the pages that wide, and I took up just a little one right there. But I'm in it, in that book. And it's right at the front end of it. So it must have been started in 42.
Thank you very much for sharing all of that
Well,
with us.
thank you very much too. Yes, sir.
Thank you also to our members that are veterans. I know that you might have some stories as well, but it's getting a little late, and so we're going to just end this evening with an additional thank you to all of the veterans that served. Thank you very much. There's extra cake if you want it. Thank you all very much. Is there any, hold it, oh, wait a minute. Thank you, Marcus. Go ahead and do the drawing. We have the drawing, you have your tickets. Everybody's got their tickets. And the 50-50 drawing goes to number
475.
475. Who's got 475? Right there. Mike Well.
Well, donate that back to the back to the club.
There we go. Well, thank you very much.
Charlie, I'm just sitting here, and I know both these guys, of course, but I'm thinking in my life, I spent 20 years on the same paper machine with Phil Edwards. Later in my life, Cleon Fletcher had a son that gave me a kidney.
Wow.
So there's two men that have affected my life quite a lot.
Thank you for bringing that. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else want to say anything?
We had a couple other vets that wanted to be here tonight, you know, Hammy Allen, he decided
Hammy
not to
Allen.
come, and then Raymond Weir's, Korean War veteran, he wanted to be here tonight, but been sick for a couple days, so.
Well, we're very grateful for the ones that we do have here tonight. And again, thank you all. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded, I assume. We're adjourned.